Earlier, I spoke to David Crowe. He's a professor of history at Elon University, and I asked him about the significance of the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II, as well as the state of China-Japan relations.
Well, I think, of course, it will take time, but I think that with someone like Prime Minister Abe taking the positions he does and making the weaker apologies that he does, at least in the eyes of the Chinese, for the time being, it's going to be frayed by that particular situation and lack of what the Chinese feel is sincere apology for the horrors that they inflicted on the Chinese during the war.
Over 50,000 Chinese veterans, we're told, who fought against Japan in World War II will be awarded reparations ahead of this Victory Day parade. Tell us about the significance of this.
This is very significant. I mean, the only thing we really have to compare to is what happened in Germany after World War II. Maybe a comparative figure would be that since World War II, the Germans have paid out $89 billion in reparations. The Japanese have paid out $1 billion. So even a modest amount of reparations is very symbolic, not only globally, but also to the Chinese who fought so bravely against the Japanese during the war.
Will this be the first time we have seen a military parade of this grandeur?
Yes, in China. Of course, they've had them. You know, the Soviets for years did this, and Vladimir Putin has revived the victory parades in Red Square in Moscow. But this is the first time it's ever taken place in China.
When do you think that things will be settled and that China will be able to accept what Japan has to say and vice versa?
Well, I think that over time, of course, after we're the World War II generation of veterans and people who were victimized by the Japanese are slowly dying off, and my feeling is that once those who remembered or were part of it have died off, that this will sort of fade off. But I think in terms of the larger history, I think there'll always be a void there because of the fact the Japanese simply, I don't want to say they deny what the horrors they inflicted upon Asia, but I think the fact that they don't even put it in their history books and they sort of have rewritten history to sort of just leave this void, I think is always going to be a sensitive point when you simply don't tell the truth historically about such events.
Are you familiar with the logo that they have issued commemorating the 70th anniversary?
Yeah, the Great Wall with the V. Well, I think that it's a throwback to ancient Chinese history. That the Great Wall was to be the barrier that kept the non-Chinese out of China in the north, and this sort of talks about it. You know, the Great Wall is the symbol of this defense mechanism. You like say, for lack of a better word, and the victory, of course, is a classic Allied symbol of victory over the Axis powers during World War II. So I think it has sort of a double meaning to the Chinese.
David Crowe, thank you so much for your time joining us from Greensboro.
Okay, thank you.